Shanti. Are you all fresh now? So this session will be in English. कितनों को इंग्लिश नहीं आती है, जिनको हिंदी ट्रांसलेशन चाहिए? 1 2 3 4 5 6। अव्यक्ति परिवार में हो रहा है, आप अपना फ़ोन ऑन करो, अव्यक्ति परिवार को ज्वाइन करो और ट्रांसलेशन उसमें ले सकते हैं, ठीक है? या है आपका हेडफोन है साथ में, लेके ही घूमो। हाँ, अभी 1 2 3 इसमें है। या अगर आपको ट्रांसलेशन चाहिए हिंदी में तो इसमें, ये सेशन पूरा इंग्लिश में होगा। अभी का ये जो सेशन है वो आज क्या दिन है, आज की तारीख क्या है, एंड 4 जुलाई क्या होता है? इंडिपेंडेंस डे। पहले हम सेशन शुरू करने से पहले, क्योंकि आज हम अमेरिका में बैठे हैं, ऑफ कोर्स हमारा भी कोई फ़र्ज़ है, हम भी इस कंट्री के लिए बहुत रिस्पेक्ट रखते हैं। सॉरी, आई एम सेइंग इन हिंदी। This languages we have to switch. Today is 4th of July, and of course, as we are sitting here in America, we do respect America, its country where we are being sustained physically, right? So we would like everyone to stand up. And today, because it's 4th of July, we will at least do our national anthem. There. So. Thank you. Yeah, may you sit. Thank you, America. Thank you. Today's session, we have a topic. It's called From Seed to Bloom. So, stories from USA's guiding lights. So, the purpose behind this is, we heard many stories from different Baba's children and years and all that. So as today is 4th of July, we thought that when in America the seed was planted, of course many other seniors came and left. But when it started growing, when Moini Didi came and started staying in the USA, and started the center and the whole, look at the tree now, right? Such a big tree. She always says that we started with 1 bedroom and now we have 100 bedrooms in a peace village. But now we will have 50 more. So anyway, it's a big Baba's yagya, and in America country, Baba has helped us to do so much, right? And so many Baba's children are here. So here are these 4 jewels with us. So Gayatri Ben, Kala Ben, Dolly Ben, and Ramprakash Bhai. So they have the stories which we don't know because they are the part of the story from the beginning. So what we want them to do is that we want to know how that seed came out and what are the stories you were part of it that we want to also feel when you are sharing with us. So what exactly happened? 78, how Moini Didi came and who was there, how was the Astoria, and how the queens and that. So these four angels are rooted in that. So we wanted to bring them in front of us, and our Avyakti Parivar angels. Bring the chairs. So we will take you into the story. Come. So we three angels and you four angels. So we are on the top of the tree and you are in the seeds. So we want to see in between part. Okay. So let's start from the beginning. So which year? Of course, before Moini Didi came from Guyana, there were few came and left, right? So anyone knows about that, or we just start from when Moini Didi came first? I think Gayatri might know that part, right? Which year Moini Didi came into USA from Guyana and how she came, with whom she came.
Dolly. Dolly was the first here
first
before
one?
me. She was
okay.
here before me. She actually welcomed Sister Mohini here. But all I could say, I will turn it over to Dolly, is that I think the year was 1978. And 1977, Dadi Kumarka had come, and when she left, the entire New York went into blackout. And her plane was the last plane that left, and then it went into blackout. But Dolly, you want to talk about that?
It's been a long, long, long time. So I can start once upon a time. In the year 1974, Dolly Ben came to the US. When she was coming, one of the dadis in Bombay, Dadi Pushpashanta, said, "You're not going." I had a bit of a rebellious nature, and I was not a good BK. I was not a BK. But I helped out. I did a lot of seva. So I said, "Oh, but Dadi, I want to go." She says, "No." But I came. Didn't listen to her. And when I came I came as a student, by the way. I was in my 20s. And then I was not happy here. And I won't go into that. I just didn't like the culture, nothing of this country. Anyway, then in the 1970s, and what happened, I disconnected from the yajna. So I had no contact. And then in 1977, Dadi Kumarika, we called her Dadi Kumarika then, but she's known as Dadi Prakashmani, the jewel of light. She came. And of course, she got in touch with me. She came with Ramesh Bhai. Then we had another sister, I forget her name. I think she's related to Sister Jayanti. So the two of us, in a way, hosted her. And at that time, I felt it was a very, very concrete, deep feeling in my heart that we have to have Gam Devi Center in America, in New York, because that's where I was, Queens. And so Dadi came, Dadi, then, she toured further, she went down to Texas, etc., etc. We won't go into that either. And then she went back to India. Then in 1978 summer, she called me and she said, Dolly, have you done any seva? I said, no. She says, all right, now is your opportunity. Mohini is coming. I had no clue who Sister Mohini was. I only knew a lot of dadis who would come to Bombay. So I met quite a few of them. My fortune, remember? And so in sometime, I think in September, Sister Mohini came to New York. She was staying somewhere in New Jersey, I believe, but she needed to be in New York. And she came with Gayatri Ben's elder sister, older sister.
This was 78, right?
It was 1978.
78.
Yes, I think it was September. My memory at the moment is not very sharp about it. And she came with Sister Sita. Sister Sita is Gayatri Ben's older sister. You probably have met her. She was a student, so she came. And so they stayed with us, with me. I had a family, and we had a little studio apartment, but they were very nice, just so beautiful. They stayed there for a bit, and then we also had Sister Rosie join them. So there were 3 of them. So we were 6 of them in this little apartment, 2 rooms, kitchen and bath. But we didn't feel, I personally
Astoria?
didn't feel.
That's Astoria.
In Astoria, yes.
Okay.
In Astoria.
So, Gayatri Ben, how did Sita Ben came with Mohini Didi?
Well, I think Mohini Didi came with Sita because Sita got a scholarship to come and do her master's. And she was in the university that is now today called Pace University in the financial.
Then too it was Pace.
Then too it was Pace, okay. And it was in where City Hall is, where New York, where the mayor is, around that area. And so I think Dadi said to Sister Mohini to come with Sita. So they came, and of course she came with a student. And so they were looking for apartments, and they were looking, and Dolly, Dadi Komarka said to Dolly to be the one to host. And so it was very humble beginnings, as you would appreciate. And I'm convinced that every single soul has to go through a period of humble beginnings, or of humble something in their lives as a Brahmin. Baba used to call it the beggary days. And so I call it humble beginnings.
So how long they stayed with you in the Astoria apartment?
I think they stayed till we found a place.
1 month, 2 months?
No, maybe a
Well,
month.
if they came
I
in
think
September,
a
I came in
month.
October.
Yeah.
And when I came in October, it was, they already had their apartment opposite. I never stayed at your place. So they had an apartment in the opposite building to Dolly. And I had never stayed in an apartment in my whole life. And even when I was studying in England, it was...
So why you came?
Well, this is why I came. Rosie Ben's father, Narayan Dada, who used to be in Madhuban and whom we had met when we went to Madhuban in 1976, he was like the ledger keeper, the Lekha one, that he kept the ledger. So when you were leaving, you had to write your experience in this ledger. And Dada Narayan was there, and he was very, very, very beautiful soul. So he left the body, Rosie Ben's father, and he left the body, and Rosie Ben was going back to India. And I took a leave of absence. I used to work at the University of Guyana, and it was my second year, and after 2 years, they give you leave. So I went to London, and I was coming back, and I came to visit my brother in Toronto, in Hamilton. He was at McMaster University. And so I'm there with him, with Krishna, and Sister Mohini, I must have called. We kept in touch with Sita anyway, Sister Mohini. And she said to me, why don't you come to New York and stay with me until Rosie Ben comes back? And I said, how long will that be? She said, it will be about 3 weeks or so. So I said, okay, that sounds fine. So then I came over, and Rosie Ben never returned.
So 3 weeks never finished.
And the 3 weeks, I'm still waiting for the 3 weeks then. That's how I came.
She was not well. Sister Rosie was very heavily diabetic, and she also had dental
So
situation.
Sita Ben also and you also were staying with Didi?
Yes, we were staying with Didi, and Didi was very challenged by me, as she will tell you this evening, I'm sure, because I loved Baba, I must say. I really, really loved Brahma Baba, and my whole life was centered around him. But I never lived in a center. And so I helped at the center in Guyana. So when I came, and of course all the daddies loved us because we loved the daddies because we were in Madhuban in 1976 with my parents. And Daddy Kumarka, I think, had come to Guyana in 1977, Dolly, and she was on her way back, and she came through New York. And so that was my comfort zone. But then Sister Moini always says, Gayatri loves to clean. So someone said to me one day, did you come to New York as a cleaner? I said, well, that's how Sister Mohini makes me look as though I was a cleaner. So yes, it was a time in which, everything was very basic, but it was the way I had to start, in which, I didn't know how to cook at all. And so I had to help with the cooking. Yeah, barley soup, I still do. Anybody sick, come to me for my barley soup. It cures, it heals. And so then I had to learn, and of course it's never to the Yagya standards, but you kind of had to build into it. Dolly was a great support. I used to babysit her daughter, and the daughter used to come, and I would be strict with her, and she would, when she needs to go to the bathroom, she says, I want Daddy Ma, I want Daddy Ma. She used to refer to Didi as Daddy Ma. And I said, no, Daddy Ma can't come here. And she used to cry, and Daddy Ma used to come and do whatever she had to do with Gita. So, you went through the growing stages of what it means to establish, what it took from us to establish Baba Center in New York.
1978, September, they came. October, by the time they had little apartment for Baba's Seva. Where were you at that time in 78, Ramprakash Bhai?
I came to USA in 1977. I came to Baba in 74. Those 3.5 years, they were, I have to say, very extensive, hours and hours meditation and very much, effort. And then it was a challenge. I didn't want to come to America. I thought I will lose my life, but then there were financial situations in the family. It's almost like a family is breaking up and all that. And finally, I made up my mind to come to America
Where you came in America?
in 1977 in Washington,
Washington,
D.C.
D.C.
And my brother had invited me, and I hide away his sponsorship letter. And then he found out from the embassy that they had sent me the letter for interview. I had not responded. I got caught.
Interview for?
Then for the immigration.
Oh,
So 1 year I hid it, but when he found out, finally I went for interview and I got the visa. I came to America, and I have to say, though I came in October 77 to, like I would say around December, January of 79 were my most miserable time of Brahman life. I went through so many things, up and down, and dying from Brahman life in many ways, and then thinking about my life, what is the life worth if I'm not a Brahman, and all those kind of things happened.
how old you were when you were
At that
doing
time, I was 25, and then 78, I
So
became
you were
26.
in Washington in
Se-
1978. You were in
77.
Washington.
77, I was in Washington.
But okay, we'll come back to you again.
I had a lot of hair. This is they're full of hair, a long hair. Yeah,
We'll come back to you 1 minute.
yeah.
Kalaban, where were you at that time? 78. Nowhere.
No, yeah.
Nowhere near.
What you were doing at that time? 78.
78. So 78, I was happily engaged in my work, pediatric practice. And I was just in the process of expanding my practice, actually. I had gone through my internship and residency in New York and in Connecticut, and then I settled back in New York. And in the beginning, I was just working, a job, but then I also had a private practice, and then I had another office that came much later on, actually. But I was in 71, 72. That's what I was doing.
So when you came first to USA? Which
US.
year? Which year?
73, 74.
So
73. actually.
Kalaban was busy
Yes.
doing seva and
Doing
doctor.
from that time
Okay,
to
so
81.
when did you and Dolly met? I think we heard that there is a connection in a Lokik field.
Yeah, so I was also just trying to connect the dots. So 1980, was it, that you were working in one of
Oh,
the
so it's
offices?
way out, right? After 80.
Yeah,
It was in 80.
1980,
So
yeah.
Ramprakash,
I
you
was
came
already-
before 80?
Yeah. See,
Okay, so let's
This
take.
was much later.
This is later. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
this is
So
much
let's
later.
go to.
See
so
what
which year
happened?
you came then? Yeah.
Then what happened? 1978, when Sister Mohini, Didi Mohini, was coming here. 2 days before, I happened to call Sister Chandru, and she told me that Dadi Janki is here with us. And talk to Dadi Janki. I did not know Dadi Janki at
Where
all.
was she?
She was in San Antonio.
So you
Dadi
knew
Janki.
Chandru Devi?
I only knew because somehow Wadi Ben had connected me, but I did not connect
How
back.
did you know what even?
Wadi Ben, because I had met her in India. I had
Okay.
taken her to Shimla. I traveled with her.
okay.
She wrote me 2 letters. I never responded.
So you didn't know who Moini Didi is?
No, not at all.
Really?
I did not know Chandru Ben either, but somehow got connected. And then on that day, as I said, I was dying as a Brahmin, but then I was alive again, but
Hanuman
dying
came
again,
with
dying
Sanjeevani
like that. And then on that day, I called by chance, and she said, "Oh, Dadi Janki, if you had talked to her." Dadi Janki talked to me. She said, "Oh, I am coming to New York day after tomorrow, and you should also come." And my brother, my family, they were very, very against. And I told them, I want to go to New York.
78.
78.
Which
yeah.
month?
It was when they were coming, when Sister Mohini was coming.
In September.
Yeah, at that time, 2 days before, I had talked to Dadi Janki, and then she told me you should come. So I also talked to my brothers. They were so much against, but I was very determined that I have to come to New
So you
York.
came?
No, no. So then I went on that day. They told me no, and I was determined to go. So I got up in the morning and I started to take shower. You know, like the shower, the sound of the water. My sister-in-law got up and she came down. Bhaiya, where are you going? And because she saw the suitcase. I said, I'm going to New York. She started to cry. Then she called my brother. They both started to cry. You are destroying our life. We invited you to come here, and here you are doing all kind of things. You know, he sponsored me. He spent money for my engineering. Then he did all the thing, and I'm seeing them crying.
So
They're my
they
eldest
didn't let
brother.
you come.
So I decided at that time, okay, I will not go. But I was very disappointed. And then after 3-4 months, then I again finally I said no
So that
way.
must be
Then I
79.
called. Huh?
That must be 79 then.
Then
after three,
I think I called Sister Mohini maybe January or December 78 or January, I don't remember. And then since then, I started to talk to, every day I will talk to her. And then she used to give me the Murli point. Then she will tell Sister Sita sometime to do that. And then I was so determined that I want to get out from my family. I told them in April I came to visit Didi Mohini, and that is where my connection with
so
Didi.
how was your meeting? First meeting with Moini
Like,
Didi?
you know, when she opened the door and the way she said, "Aa gaye," so that means as if the lost child has come home.
So you never
Mother.
went back to Washington?
No. I went. There are a lot of story, but the thing is that I felt when I was walking with her in the in our 30 this Astoria. I still remember she was wearing a kind of beige color of overcoat, and I could see her like a Vishnu because the way she was like a mother. I never have lost that image that Baba has sent her to create heaven over here in New York.
So which year then you moved to New York?
Then what happened in April? I came and then I went back. Oh, there was such a chaos in the family, and I told them at that time I want to move away from here. And then I found a job in North Carolina for the bridges, so that I am out of the family. So I gave
But
resignation
in New
to my
York,
family.
when did you start
Yeah,
coming?
then what happened that when I gave the resignation, that guy told me why. I said, I want to get away. And they had a job in New York. They say, oh, you want to go to New Jersey, Short Hills? I said, yeah. He said, we have a job. So they gave me the job, so I did not have to leave them. That was the month of beginning of June.
So this is 1979.
79.
You moved to New York.
New York,
And where
79.
you stayed?
You know, they gave me the hotel in New Jersey. I said, no, I'm going to stay at the
No, I
center.
heard that you used to stay in
Yeah, upstairs.
upstairs.
With the one German sister.
So you also rented the
Yeah. So then
Same
after
year,
that,
right?
yeah. In the beginning, I shared the room with the German sister.
Okay, so it means 78. Dolly Ben hosted Moini Didi and Gayatri Ben came in October, and then you joined the team in 1979, having the another apartment. So now there are 3 apartments, right?
Then what happened, actually Sister Mohini said at that time, Ramprakash, we have 1-bedroom apartment, and then should we get, and we are getting another one. I say, yes, you should get another, the second 2-bedroom apartment.
No,
So they
that
can-
is later, right?
Yeah. No, when I was in Washington at that time, they moved
So now
into 2
let's
bedroom.
come to. So now you all 3 are together from 79. So Gayatri Ben, Dolly Ben, and Ramprakash Bhai, Moini Didi, and Sita Ben was there.
With us,
For how long she was there?
she was for a while, 1982.
80 something.
82, even at 80. Yeah.
On a 5-year scholarship.
Yeah.
Oh, so she was there for 5 years. Yeah. Okay, so now Kala Ben will make entry to
But
this.
uh, one moment, we also have had Sister Rajni stay with
From
us.
Japan?
Yes,
Oh,
then she
okay.
didn't want to continue.
How long she stayed?
She was there for quite a few months, right?
No, years. She came, was it 70, 80, I think, or 70?
She came in summer, beginning of the summer of 1980.
Of 80, because she was there for Didi's,
Yes,
Didi's.
right. And
So
then we
s-
also had Elena, who left, who passed away, who
She was
was
there.
sent to
But she
Mexico
was also staying.
by Daddy. Yeah, she was also in the Astoria flat.
So this little flat, 79.
Elena came when we moved down to 1A and 1B.
Yeah.
That's when Elena came. She never came upstairs.
No, not up.
One
Yeah.
bedroom she came.
Okay, that's nice to know. We went into that apartment while listening to you all, right? Do you feel that? Yeah, we are in that little apartment. Must be one bedroom, right?
Yeah, so my bed was the two big cushions that people used to brace on when they came for the courses, and at night it became my bed.
So now, Kalaben, you have to make entry to this.
So, my entry has a lot to do with Dolly.
80, right? 1980?
81.
81. So 79, 80, you all were just few, right?
No, but not only were we in 80, not only were we just few, but 1980 we became affiliated to the UN.
80.
Yeah, that was the year Didi came. No. That was when Didi came, that same year. She was the first one that stepped into the UN. Well,
No,
we-
Didi came
In 1980, I think we had Dadi Nirmal Shanta.
no. I
both
think
came in 1980.
they came
I know the
together, but
dates
I
very
know, yeah, the 1980. Didi
It
came.
feels like that.
Chronological. I know the chronological who came when.
Okay.
Our historian.
In
Yeah, but
essence,
let me tell you about Didi Ji. Didi Manmohini came, and she is Baba never gave her permission to travel out of India.
That was the only time.
Never. And so then we said we just got affiliated to the United Nations, and she should come
how did you get that? Means how
from
that
a
happened?
cartoon box.
Cartoon books?
Yeah. What happened was Chiria, who comes here sometimes, Baba called her Chiria. Her name
So
is
she was
Ifan.
there too?
She was there. Chiria was there when we.
As a student?
She took Gyan in London,
Mm-hmm.
and then she came and she was staying with us.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
at the
okay.
at the apartment because she was an American, right? We were all immigrants coming. She
And
was
her
the
speciality.
home, and she used to go out and do service, and we never had Indian students come necessarily. We used to have all
Chiria's,
Americans.
Chiria's speciality was skiing. So she had this truck, remember she had this big van kind of thing. It was filled with all these ski stuff. And at 4 o'clock in the morning, when you all do your Amrit Vela, she'd jog along that park.
Yes.
And Sister Moini was very uncomfortable because it wasn't
Chiria.
safe.
But we used to have a lot of students, but they were all non-Indians coming to the center. But anyway, coming back to Didi. So now Didi came.
No, this UN box.
Yeah, okay, the box, the box. But I want to get to you. Chiria must have, in her jogging, went to the UN, and in those days, there was not so much of security. So she must have gone into the UN and asked them if organizations could be affiliated. And then she got the forms, and she brought it out, and she started filling it out. Now, in 1979, my dad was undergoing an open heart surgery in London. So I went back to Guyana when he was coming back from London to be there. So I was away for about a month. In that time, Chiria would have done it, and that was in 1979. Chiria would have done that. So when I came back after going to Madhuban, coming back to New York, Baba said to me, "Where are you going?" I said, "Oh, Baba, I'm just going to arrive in New York and I'm going back to Guyana." And he says, "Why? What are you going to do in Guyana?" I said, "I'm going to do service." He says, "There's a lot in Guyana to do service. Go to New York." I went.
This is Avek Babdara.
This is Abyak Bapdada. And of course, what can you say? And I said, I didn't have a visa, so you can't tell God. If God is telling you to do something, you're going to say, I don't have a, dear God, I don't have a visa. No, so I didn't say anything. I just said Haji. And for the longest while, I was on a diplomatic visa, actually. So then I found, when I came back, I saw this box, and Chiria now has moved on. I think she went to LA. And I am going through the box because I'm sorting out the papers, what is in this box. And I came up with the UN forms. And her squiggly, Chiria has a kind of a squiggly kind of writing. You know it's Chiria's writing. And it was all in pencil. So I took a pen and I traced over her writing so to make it more pronounced. And then I took it in to the Department of Public Information, and you just submitted the form. Then you could go right to the office and hand them the forms. So I went in and I took the forms in, and as they say, the rest is history. And so within a few months, this is why I know it's 1980, within a few months, we got the approval.
Really?
And we didn't know
I didn't
why
know
we
that.
got the approval. So we made an appointment with the head of the department that gave us the approval. And she said, well, we were looking for two things and you qualified. One is we were looking for organizations that's headquartered in India. And two, we were looking for organizations headed by women.
Wow.
And so, but you're talking about seed and bloom. The seed of the UN was in the thought of Dadiji when Dolly and the others must have taken her along First Avenue, and she, in 1977, stood in front of the building for a moment, the flags, and she had a moment of meditation, and she says, Baba's flag will be glorified here one day, because she asked him what it was. And so I thought of the seed, the embryo means the blueprint of whatever Baba was going to have happen at the UN was in that seed of her thought. And then, of course, it got planted there, and then we just watered the seed, and of course, now it's growing downward, the roots. But that was the UN. That's how it began.
So you
and we
got
just-
the approval, then you invited Didi?
Then, of course, it became a big thing. We are now in this little apartment. We are now affiliated to the United
Missing
Nations.
something. No, sister. I think in May, Dadi Nirmal Shanta came, and after a couple of months, Didi came.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Whenever
Yeah,
they
that
came,
is, but
Yeah.
how did Didi come?
Didi came
When-
not with the UN.
Yes,
No,
she came.
we did not have connection at that time.
Oh, yes, we did. Because when Didi came, this is how Didi got permission to come. Daddy Janki wanted Didi to come. And Baba was saying no. Because Daddy Janki.
So this is Manmohini Didi. I think maybe
Manmohini
people
Didi.
don't know who
Manmohini
is
Didi,
Manmohini
our
Didi.
senior Didi,
The
whom
one
you
whose
see every
month we
night.
are celebrating.
This is her month.
July month, no?
So
Manmohini Didi. Yeah.
Daddy Janki wanted her to come. But Baba was saying no, she couldn't travel. When we got the affiliation to the UN, Baba said yes.
Wow.
So then she came, and why I'm remembering it, it's because when she came, we took her to the UN, Brother Ramprakash. We took her to the UN, and she met with the Undersecretary General from Japan, Mr. Akashi. So actually, Didi was the first person that stepped into the UN building.
Wow.
Yeah, and I mean, it was powerful. And then we had this program for her. So of course, Dadi Nirmal Shanta came, but we didn't take her to the
So
UN.
how many dadis came in between 79, 80, 81? Nirmal Shanta Dadi.
Nirmal Shanta Dadi,
Prakash
Didi, Dadi Prakashmani, no, she came
Okay.
later.
And
then
this
Dadi Janki.
Dadi Janki.
Dadi Janki came into that.
So all of them
thing.
came
So
in
the
this
three
little
main
apartment?
ones.
No,
Yeah,
Dadi,
the Astoria apartment.
Little
yeah.
apartment.
Yeah. They came when we were downstairs, not
Okay.
the one
I
on
think Kalaban, you
2D.
should make entry now.
I'm the bloom, remember? I'm not
So-
in the seed form, I'm in the bloom.
She's in the roots.
The first
She's
one,
the
huh?
roots. She's the roots.
Okay, so what you were doing in the office, at doctor office?
I'm the sprout or
Okay. So which year was that? 80, 81?
81
So
was
how
when-
did you know Dolly Ben?
Well, as I was telling you, I was working and I had my private practice, and then I opened a second office of mine in Flushing in New York. Some of you know the area. And that was my own, I was just renting it or, using part-time in that office. And somehow or the other, Dolly Ben, who is actually a trained educator and a trained teacher, school teacher, and not only that, but she also worked in a consulate. She had a very credible background, but she happened to be working in this dental office as a secretary.
I wasn't really working. This dentist, Dr. Sethi, whose building in which you had your...
Yeah.
He was my Lokik husband's friend, and his office was in one big mess. So I would usually come on weekends to help out. I knew nothing about dentistry.
And okay, all right. So I could tell I was only using that office for a year or two, actually. But as soon as I started using that office is when I came into contact with Dolly Ben. And I don't know, the rest is, she has to say what she felt when she saw me. But for me in those days, I was not looking. I was just, as I said, happily engaged. Not so happily, sometimes most happily, sometimes not so happily engaged in my pediatric practice. And I was merrily going along, and she would again and again tell me about this place that used to be near the other clinic that I was working in, because the clinic that I worked in was Astoria Clinic. And from there to the Astoria Center was 5 minutes, not even 5 minutes
She must be
drive.
saying such a beautiful
So
big place
she
with one
made this
bedroom.
connection and she said, you must go to this place and you must meet the people. They are so good. You will love it. But I didn't get the impression at that time what it was all about, really, but she really promoted this place, that I must visit this center, this place. So I think it must have been a couple of months before I put it off, because, it was not easy for me to extend and project. But one day I said, I'm just going to visit, and I'm going to tell Dolly Ben that I did go. Okay, thank you. But when I went to the place, I don't think I made an appointment, did I? I just walked in, I think. Yeah, you walked in. Yeah. So I just walked into the Astoria Center first time during my lunch hour. As I said, it was very close to my clinic. So I rang the bell, ting, 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 and Gayatri Ben opens the door. And she says, come in. And then what I remember after that is she was not expecting me, obviously. So she said, just have a seat. We used to have it was just floor seating. It was not a chair or anything like that. I don't remember a chair.
We had one little sofa.
So,
There was sofa in the
yeah, it was just floor seating, one simple room.
And my cushions, which was my bed.
Yeah. But I didn't think of sitting on the cushion of bed. But there was one beautiful picture of Shiv Baba as soon as you enter, and the rest of it was just plain carpeted room. And she asked me to have a seat, I'll be right back. And I sat there, and it might have been 5 minutes, not even 10 minutes. And I looked around, and the only thing that could catch my attention was Shiv Baba's picture. And that Shiv Baba's picture, which I haven't seen ever since I left that, and I'm looking for it still, was what caught my attention. It was like everybody said, oh, come on in, welcome, aap aa gaye, Mohini Didi welcomed Ramprakash Pai, somebody else welcomed somebody else. So it was the Shiv Baba who welcomed me. God
Okay.
welcomed me to the Astoria Center, and I really felt.
And she's still looking for his pictures, and she's got a real thing. She's still looking for the picture.
for the real.
What did you do with it when you moved?
I have it in a safe, so Kala won't find it.
So now all four of you are together, right?
We are there, the Mohini Didi is there, and Hemlata Ben was there. She
mother.
was the other
The mother, right?
very important. She was an important figure in my
She used to
early
live
days.
in the center from then?
From the
80?
beginning. From the beginning.
Oh, okay.
And she was the one who read me my first Murli.
Oh.
And she used to read Murli to me every lunch hour when I used to go to the center, and I used to get so intoxicated. And she would play this song for me. I have to play that song.
You can sing.
यूं भूमि संगम है जिसका नाम इस युग में धरती पर आते हैं शिव शिव भगवान. I used to get so high on that song. So anyway, that's when I started. Right. So these were my important. And I think Mohini Didi was not around when I came first. It was only Gayatri Ben in the center. At that time, she had gone to Guyana, I think, at that time. She was
So when
away.
did you meet Didi first?
That was almost a month after, maybe, or a few months.
Yeah, because she came and I started giving her the course, and there's no reaction from Kala.
Okay, yeah. Her
Soul, no reaction. Supreme soul, no reaction. So, okay. Karma, no, reaction.
You did the course for her?
I
Oh,
gave her
okay.
the course.
Spiritual mother?
And then
there's only one teacher there. anyway.
Lataben sustained her. So Lataben is really, I just give her, I was like more like the teacher. Lataben was like her mother.
But interesting thing is the first USA born, no?
Yeah.
In USA.
There must be in other places, but in New
Yeah,
York.
In New York.
Maybe
Yeah,
it's-
New York, yes.
But the thing is, when
Ralph
it got
was
to the
there.
cycle, usually people leave or they run away or they stay. So, Kala, no reaction. So when Sister Moni came back, and I'm now telling her in the room, and there's just a wall, she must be hearing what I'm telling Sister Moni. I said, there's this person who's doing the course, and it's either she's understanding nothing or she's understanding everything. There's no reaction from her. And so then, of course, Sister Muni met her, and Sister Muni said, no, she understood every single thing. So Kala was like a ready-made baby.
But, I remember walking those streets of Astoria after the class, and I had no idea where I was walking. Like, I was so much on a different level every time I left the class and, was in the streets of New York City and going back to work. So there was a lot. I mean, I was internalizing, of course, a lot of things, but I really, really was struck by Baba's knowledge, Baba's picture, and of course, Baba's meeting, Avyakt Bapdada's meeting in Madhura.
And when Bap Dada met her, he said, Sola Kala has come.
Sola Kala. And that was when I was thinking, is he going to even recognize me? How does he know I'm Kala? And here he is, Sola Kala.
So now four of you are together in Astoria. 81 you said, right? 81.
came.
And then-
82.
Then the house, how we bought the house.
Yeah,
Queen's-
Now
Queen's
Ramprakash
Center.
Bhai's mission started. Searching and searching, right?
Yeah, she told me, get a house, we should get a house. I say, I don't know anything about.
Who told you?
Sister
Didi.
Mohini. Didi Mohini was telling me, and I said, I have no idea. They say, call this one, newspaper, this and that. It says $60,000-$70,000, maybe maximum 75. Now I am looking at the apartment, I am talking to the agent. He took me somewhere funny places, and then I said, no, that's not good, that's not good. The only thing I found was, it was $130,000. I said, that makes some sense. And I told Sister Mohini that only one place I saw, which is $130,000. I said, will you go? She never went to see that place. If we cannot even go there, cannot afford it, what's the point of going? She did not go to see that place.
So that place was Queen's.
And Queen in the Jackson Heights, no? Elmhurst, where we have
Yeah,
the
the
sister.
Queen Center.
Yeah, Queen Center. And then what happened then, we went to Madhuban, and then we were 7 or 8 brothers, the Jagdeep and all these people, and we traveled with Dadi Prakash Mani and with the Dadi Gulzar and Dadi Prakash Mani. We were in the first class. She told us in the morning, after taking shower, we will all come and sit with you brothers. So then she sat with all the brothers.
First
and then
class train.
in the train. And then she started asking what is happening, this and that, how much you make, what you do and all that. Then she said, what the center? I said, Dadi, we saw a place and they say it is $130,000, but they maximum might go for $120,000. But Didi did not go. Sister Mohini did not go to see because we cannot afford. Dadi said, $120,000, 120,000 rupees in India, $120,000 in America, no big deal, And then she said, okay, I will talk to Sister Mohini, she said. And then in Madhuban, they called me and they said, go for that house. They sent me 1 week earlier. Like they said, no, you cannot. I came for 18th of January. They did not allow me to attend 18th January. They said, you have to go back to America. Don't let it go. And when I came over to America, the house was gone. Somebody had bought it. They said that it. You remember that both of Gayatri Ben and Kala Ben both were there. He said, but you have to write the letter now. That's gone. So,
And
but then
I
it came
was in
back.
Madhuban later on in the year, because I don't think I ever went January to Madhuban. And then I'm taking leave from Baba, and Baba is saying to me, okay, you go, you'll get a beautiful house. You'll get a good house. And it was the same house that came back to
Yeah,
us.
it came back then, the house, and then we got it right away. That is how.
But then now we have to move back to Astoria because so much of service was done. So we are looking for a place in Astoria to establish Baba's Center in Queens. And so if any one of you know of a real estate in Astoria, let me know.
We're talking
We're
about now.
looking for a place in Astoria so we can go back. Because Astoria now in Queens is one of the highest,
topmost
the
real
topmost
estate.
place. I don't know why we moved, really, drama.
And actually, I lived 1 year in that. In the
So now we have Queen Center?
Yes,
the
now
Queen
We have-
Center.
and this
we
was
have
in 1982.
2, yes.
And
maybe.
Nearby came.
Yeah.
So
19.
Nearby came, but they were staying at the apartment. And Calaban and,
Yeah,
Nirvana
Nirvana stayed with
Ben
me in apartment.
and Sita and Himlata, no, not Himlata, Savita Ben,
So
Shiman Bhai's wife.
see with the
Queen Center emerged in 1982.
Shiman Bhai was
82,
also
82.
instrumental in that, no?
So Shiman Bhai and Savita Ben.
Now we have our own Baba's property.
Yeah, now
in
Kala moved in.
USA.
Kala became a Niwasi immediately.
She became
After
Nivasi.
Madhuban. Mhm.
She went to Madhuban, she came back, and she became a Niwasi. So that, we still call her room Kala's room,
Yeah.
even though after all these years. So yes, and then Sister Mohini's room, and that's how it all continued. And then 10 years after,
And when I stayed 1 year in that apartment, the center,
yeah.
I stayed there for 1 year.
Downstairs, where there was.
Yeah, then
there's
I
classroom
came, then we had a
attached
break-in.
to that.
No, then we had a break-in
Where?
in the house. And
Queens?
that's in Queens, yeah.
Really?
In Elmhurst. And then Gayatri Ben must have suggested to
Oh,
Sister
no,
Mohini
no,
Ramprakash
no.
should move.
That wasn't really a break-in.
Yeah.
What happened was, if I had a break-in, I would have moved out.
But not break-in.
I was sleeping upstairs. It was during the day, and I must have come back in from the UN and went upstairs. And then we have 2 windows that didn't have bars, and the windows were open. And we used to have a tape recorder playing Baba's song in Baba's room because Baba got the best room in the Queen Center. He got really the best room. So, so I heard like someone jumped. So I walked off the bed. I came off the bed and I walked to the tip of the stairs to walk down. And then totally my mind changed. And I said, why am I so pulled by this sound? And I went back into the room and I stayed upstairs. When I came down,
There was no tape
and
recorder.
I'm sitting,
There was no tape
there was
recorder.
no tape recorder. And so it was very interesting because if I had come down the stairs, I would have confronted the person who came in. So obviously it must have been a young person who saw the tape recorder, came in and was from the back, and just took the tape recorder, nothing else. So that was when we got bars.
Yeah, then they said Ramprakash should move in. So then I left the apartment and then I stayed in the basement. And the gadi used to be my bed. So I used to sleep in Baba's actually classroom. And then I will have to get up early
Fold up the
morning.
bed for morning.
And fold up the bed and became the gadi later on for
He's
1
done
year.
the real tapasya.
But I used to have to do that in Queens, in 36th Avenue,
The mattress. I used to
29th
put on the
Street,
mattress.
36th
Yeah,
Avenue.
we should cover the Manhattan service also, actually.
Then
Talking
where's
of New
Raj?
York.
Is Raj here? Raj took Gyan in the Astoria apartment. And she was, I think, did she
No,
before
she used
you?
to come to
me.
center.
Just
Yeah, she
before
was
me.
before
Yeah.
Kala. So she was actually
before
the
Kala.
Brahmin before Kala. And Radha too. Radha, the one who does
Raymond.
and thing. And Raymond and Sace and
They were all
Sunita, they
before
were
me.
all there, mostly from the Caribbean. And they, Raj then, she was working at Sloan Kettering, or she was teaching. I think she was teaching.
She was,
But she was a pharmacist. She graduated as a pharmacist, and then she started working at Sloan as a pharmacist. And then she started service in Manhattan. And there was this little space that they got, and next to them was a printing press. And next to them was something else, and you were like walking up a factory thing. But they stayed there for a long time because from there Carol was born,
23rd Street.
23rd Street. Robin Llewellyn was born. Yvette was born. There were quite a few Americans that were
Yeah.
born from that little space. And then, of course,
Corina.
Corina, that's right.
Yeah, Corina.
Corina was
She had an apartment. We
Yeah,
used
and
to
then
go
she
to class.
started something in her apartment on First Avenue. So this was the family and how it started growing. But of course, they all went different places after. But Robin still keeps in touch on Zoom. But that was how it grew. It's like one soul came, and then there was something that was
So it
gifted.
was like that. Then 1982 Nirvair Bhai came, 1983 Jagdish Bhai came, 1984 Dadi Prakash Mani came, 85 Dadi Gulzar came,
And the Harmony
then
House,
1986. Huh?
Harmony House,
Uh-huh.
when was that?
That was 1992.
Until 92.
And,
Yeah, we have to speed up a little bit.
So
Elena
actually,
Sass.
90
Eleanor Sass.
No.
You remember Eleanor
Yeah,
Sass?
No,
Eleanor
1986.
Sass. She was.
Elena was an
Actually, what
excellent
happened?
jewel.
It's a very important. 1986, we had a brother
Million
Kirti and all
minutes of
that.
peace,
Million minutes
right?
of peace happened at
So
that
much
time.
service.
Then they were saying that they had a vision. Didi Mohini said, "Oh, I had a dream." Or I had a vision, beautiful house, a beautiful garden and a big place and all that. So my mind, oh, she's thinking something. So I started looking for places, big places.
Because in
and
Queens, we
found,
had 3 places
Yeah.
already, right? We
Yeah.
were so many people that we needed more next door houses.
Just around the
and
center.
I found one
Around it.
place, 10-acre land, and it was new town, very close to where brother Jashri Ban and those. And I took them one by one, And then I was not budging, and Dadi Janki came. Somehow or another, we pushed her to come and see the place. She said, "Oh, Dadi Prakashmani should see." So Dadi Prakashmani came and saw the place, and Dadi declared in the class, "Oh, we are getting the place," and everybody had Dolly and everything, you know. And then as soon as she left, everything was soda water. All the enthusiasm. So then we kept looking, and then we got 92. There's a Harmony House out of that.
Yeah, and then in Harmony House, then Sister Mohini moved, Didi moved, and to
White
that
House.
area, to the White House, because she had to get a residential place. And so then it was, when did we do Images and Voices of, when did we do the meeting from which Peace Village, the idea of Peace
Okay,
Village
that
emerged?
was the meeting in 1998.
1998, around that time, we had a Friends of the BK, and the retreat we had at Harmony House was Serve in the USA. And we brought together all our American friends that we had served. And so they came, they were all professionals. And then from that meeting, we divided into groups, and one group created Images and Voices of Hope, which
Serving
became
the media.
serving the media, and that was very, very successful. And the other group created the idea
Retreat
of a
place.
retreat
Yeah.
place.
But Gayatri, you're missing that our very first retreat, which happened in
Oh God,
1989.
stop, we don't want to remember that.
Oh, no, that's it. Dadi Janki saw the retreat place.
Yulan place? at
A
the
Yulan, yeah.
No.
Okay, all right. So that was, and then Brother Ramesh
Many little
came.
side
We
scenes
found
we
one
don't want to
place.
remember.
Brother Ramesh came to see it, and Janki got sick. She said almost leaving body. Sister Mohini went to India, and Ramesh Bhai is on the way to come to America to see that place, Ingleside. And then I called the person, our senior most person is coming before we buy it. We had even paid them some money, and he's in the plane, and he told me that they sold the property, somebody offered more money. Brother Ramesh is in the plane to come here, and the place is gone. And I'm thinking, drama? What kind of good in the drama? What we will say? That time he talked to you a lot, you know, Brother Ramesh.
Yeah. And then we have Brother Rick and Sister Sandy, who are living here opposite. And they were the ones who actually created the first museum in the US, which was the Mind's Eye Museum in Tampa. And then when there was a Cindy brother who owned the building that Fifth Avenue is in, on Fifth Avenue, and we were looking for a place to move from this little room to a bigger place in Manhattan. So we went straight to the Empire State Building. Was there something there that we can have? But of course, it was small, but very expensive. And then this brother came to visit Sister Mohini for some reason, and because he had known her. And then he says, but I have a building and I have a whole floor. Why don't you all come and see? You know, I will give it to you for a reasonable rent. So we went, and then eventually he says, why don't you buy it? And again, he gave it for a reasonable price. And then that's how we were on Fifth Avenue. I don't know, there's another not-for-profit is on Fifth Avenue.
We were getting an Empire State Building actually, remember?
Yeah,
We
but
were
that
getting
was
office.
it was like the UN office, you have to get your pass, you have to get approval, but this you just walk up.
How many of you have been to Manhattan Center or UN office or whatever? Very few. You have to arrange something.
So we have to tell the, oh, you two angels,
We have to
your
arrange the
third
bus.
angel left you
Next
and you're
time
not
we
saying
would have-
anything
we
to
need
us.
to do a bus
Om Shanti.
bus trip on to.
I'm right here. Om Shanti. Can you all hear me?
Another is on Zoom.
Can you
so
hear me?
she has last question.
Well, you
Om
left it.
Shanti. It was, yeah, I'm in settled form right now. I'm in settled region right now. Anyway, I'm sorry I had to leave in between, but it was a wonderful stories. I think we need part two actually, some point, because we didn't finish the story, and I think the dining area and kitchen is waiting for us. But
Yeah,
I
but
think we'll
Bhumi,
find
you created now.
And then you disappeared.
you created a kind of a desire here, a pure desire in Avyakti Parivar, because they now want to see for real these places and the history.
No,
So you
it's
have to
good,
arrange a
huh?
bus tour.
Actually, the reason behind this today, because it was 4th of July, and I felt that everyone should know that it's not in only in India that when service started in 51, the way dadis went out to different states and how they started the center, but also in Western countries, each and every country, how they started, how Baba made instruments. It's amazing stories. So I knew a little bit about this story of USA, but when I hear from all of you all the details, it makes us so feel like real yagyas are being planted everywhere in different countries. So we wanted everyone to feel that. That's why I wanted to have this session today, to feel the
Yes,
New York and USA services,
this
how it
was very
started.
good. Like you said, this is
Yeah.
part one, so part two will
And so
continue.
if you
Yeah.
want to know about the West Coast, you have to go to the West Coast. That's
Yeah.
another story.
Right.
And then
So everyone,
Florida.
did you all
Florida
enjoy
was a
it?
big one too.
Did you all feel that you went in
To yourself.
Astoria? Yeah. Thank you so much for giving your time, and everyone for your patience and listening and feel and experience. And I think now we will remember Baba and we'll go for lunch. But there are two, three things. First is make sure you take your children with you. Especially, you have to keep them with you. And of course, when you go for a little rest, you make sure that you take your children with you, youth, or whoever is with you. They have to go and rest a little bit, because then they'll be fresh in the evening. Otherwise, they'll be too tired. And we really don't want everyone to wander around without their parents, because sometimes they get so enthusiastic that they play in the outside and all that. So please make sure that that doesn't happen. And also, we have very special art gallery actually. It's Sister Monica here. She is the artist, and we have beautiful setup here in Peace Village. So we have a little slot of art gallery visiting. So after lunch, we will announce in the dining area what are the timings for visiting art gallery. So we'll guide you for that. So anyone, whoever is interested, you are most welcome to go and see the art gallery. And there are some different Babas, Shiv Babas photos, and you can see there are some, you can even get it if you want to have it for your home, you can buy it. But it's worth going there and understanding. It's experiential, the way she put together the whole art gallery and the way she paint. It's amazing. So if you get little time, please do visit the art gallery. And in the evening, 4 to 4:30, we'll be having break, tea break, and then 4:30, everyone should come into the inspiration hall. All the youth and children, everyone should be here by 4:30. And then we'll be having another session that will be also very interesting. So I'm sure you will enjoy also. And for youth and everyone will have their own sessions after we come back here at 4:30. So that's the program for tonight. And then after the session, we'll have dinner, and then again we'll be coming back for a Vikti Parivar. So anyone has any problem, I mean, any question or any salvation you need, you can always go to our guardian angels. And yeah, any question you can always come and ask us. So I'm sure everyone is okay. Of course, we had this class today that we shouldn't be eating too much, but it doesn't mean that you don't eat, okay? Because we have made so much food for everyone. So please make sure that you have in Baba's remembrance, that it's a many Baba's angel have made with so much love and effort. So please enjoy Baba's food, Brahma Bhojan, and then have rest a little bit, of course. Om Shanti, and we'll see you soon back at 4:30.
इस युग में सृष्टि पर आते हैं परमात्मा शिव भगवान। इस युग में सृष्टि का रचता ब्रह्मा तन में आता है।
बूढ़े ब्रह्मा तन के द्वारा दुनिया नई बनाता है।
इस युग में सृष्टि का रचता ब्रह्मा तन में आता है।
बूढ़े ब्रह्मा तन के द्वारा दुनिया नई बनाता है।
निराकार साकार द्वारा करता है सबका हो कल्याण। इस युग में सृष्टि पर आते हैं परमात्मा शिव भगवान।
हो मीठे शिव भगवान।